Did you know they've been seeing each other?
I used to think betrayal only happened in movies until it walked into my life wearing my best friend's perfume. Her name was Chloe. We'd been inseparable since high school, the kind of friendship where you finish each other's sentences, know each other's secrets, and swear nothing could ever come between you. Then came Daniel. Tall, charming, the kind of smile that makes your knees forget how to work. I introduced them at a party, never imagining that night would be the start of the ugliest chapter of my life. 2 months later, Chloe was helping him pick a birthday gift for me. At least, that's what she told me. But late one night, I saw the truth in Instagram story she meant to hide from me. A reflection in a wine glass, their hands too close, their smiles too intimate. When I confronted them, they didn't deny it. They just looked at each other, as if I was the problem for noticing. It hurt. It burned. But I didn't scream. I didn't cry, not to them. Because in that moment, I realized something important. They thought they'd won. And that's exactly what made them vulnerable. I wasn't going to fight for him. I was going to make sure they fought each other until there was nothing left. People say betrayal is loud slammed doors, shouted accusations, shattered glass. They're wrong. Betrayal arrives on tiptoe. Mine slipped in at 12:03 a.m. Inside an Instagram story Chloe must have thought I wouldn't see. A wine bar, 2 stemmed glasses, a candle guttering between them. Nothing incriminating, except the warped reflection curved along the glass, a jawline I knew too well. Daniel's. He always tilted his head when he laughed, like he was giving the moment permission to be good. The reflection did that. I stared until the candle burned a hole through my denial. There had been warning signs, tiny ones I'd treated like dust I could blow away. The extra spritz of his cologne before late meetings, Chloe's new lipstick, same shade I once bought for myself, back when she said it was too much for my face. The way they'd suddenly discovered they ran into each other at places I introduced them to. When I confronted them 2 days later, I expected mess, tears, excuses, at least a performance of guilt. What I got was choreography. Chloe folded her hands on the caf table like a student ready for an oral exam. Daniel sat angled toward her, body language so practiced it made me feel like the stranger who'd interrupted a rehearsal. "It just happened," he said, as if love were a banana peel. Chloe's mouth softened into the kind of sympathetic smile that deserves sharp objects. "We didn't want to hurt you. I remember the smell of coffee going cold. I remember a couple laughing behind me. I remember thinking I never wanted to remember this. I didn't cry. Not then." I nodded as if I'd expected this all along, like some bleak prophecy had finally ticked over into arrival. I stood up, smoothed my coat, and said the only true thing I had left. "Okay." They thought okay meant surrender. I meant okay as in, game on. I walked out into winter air that made my eyes water and told myself it was only the wind. That night, I cried quietly into a towel so the neighbors wouldn't hear. Then I took a shower so hot it erased the finger smudges of their names on my skin. When the water ran cold, something in me felt clean enough to plan. If they believed they'd won, they'd get sloppy. And sloppy people are wonderfully easy to break. Revenge is not rage. Rage is a match. Revenge is a blueprint. I pulled out an old showbox where I keep birthday cards and little artifacts of us, ticket stubs, Polaroids, the cork from our first New Year's together. I laid them out like evidence in a quiet trial only I could attend. The story they told about Daniel, charming, ambitious, always a little hungrier than the room. The story they told about Chloe, warm, magnetic, allergic to being second. Then I built dossiers not on paper. Paper can be found, but in the muscle memory of a mind that had known them both for years. Chloe vulnerabilities, exclusion anxiety. If a group forms without her, she believes the group is about her. Mirror appetite. She wants your style, your slang, your plans because owning is safer than admiring. Romance hunger. She loves like a collector. She wants the thing everyone else wants so she can display it. Old flame Ethan. A message thread she never fully deletes. The one secret proof she's still desirable on her own terms. Daniel vulnerabilities age thermistor. He needs a room to tell him who he is, every hour on the hour. Control theater. protective with a ribbon on it. Possessiveness in a tux. Status oxygen. Titles. Corner tables. Whose name is on the guest list, he breeds it. Cash slippage. He hates being seen as broke. Will borrow, bluff, and barter to keep the shine intact. Now the overlap where their needs would grind each other into powder. Her jealousy vs. his need for attention. His possessiveness vs. her need to keep proof of desire. Ethan nearby. Their mutual belief they're the main character. I didn't need to expose them. Exposure is loud. It makes heroes of villains. I needed something quieter. Friction. Friction is better than fire. Fire burns out. Friction grinds until the machine seizes. Chapter 3. Soft poetry. Practiced my smile in the mirror, not manic, not martyr. Just fine. The version of me who'd moved on. The one who could be trusted in public. Forgiveness is a fabulous disguise. I bumped into them at a mutual friend's trivia night. You too, I said, like we were sitcom characters surviving a plot twist. I hugged Chloe lightly. Air kissed beside Daniel's cheek. He flinched. Good. Nerves are wires you can pull later. I didn't avoid them. I appeared sparingly, strategically. Group hikes. A gallery opening. A mutual's birthday where I brought the cake and made everyone laugh about the disaster icing job, even though it wasn't. Presence matters. The human brain relaxes around sameness. If they could get used to me again if I was background, then I could operate in the foreground without being seen. I fed Chloe little compliments I knew would lodge like splinters. That blazer on you? It's giving creative director. He must love it. He hadn't commented. You two together feel so stable. She hates the word. To Chloe, stable is what people say when spark is gone. To Daniel, I served flattery in tuppence-sized bites, never a full meal. I always knew you'd be the guy who closes the room. He wasn't closing much lately. I saw the credit card decline at the wine bar. Chloe's taste has really improved. He thinks he improved her. She thinks she upgraded him. None of it pointed. All of it pointed. By week 3, they giggled at inside jokes in front of me, believing I'd been downgraded from rival to friendly audience. Perfect. Audiences are allowed to sit close. Information rarely shouts. It sighs. Chloe's work Slack leaked via a mutual. She'd asked for Friday off for a special surprise. Daniel's birthday wasn't for 2 months. Daniel started wearing a watch he couldn't afford. I knew. I'd filed the budgets. It was a gift, he said. Chloe swore she didn't do gifts like that. Interesting. Ethan the old flame posted a song to his story at 1:14 a.m. Chloe's favorite, a thing she'd once declared too underrated for people to get. She replied with a fire emoji, then hid the story from me. Not from our mutual, who sent me the screen recording with a one-word caption, "Girl." Meanwhile, Daniel's gym buddy, who believes protein shakes are personality, let slip that Daniel hated clingy girls. He wasn't talking about me. He was talking about Chloe's new habit of dropping by unannounced. That's because she's passionate, I said with a smile that agreed and didn't. If you listen long enough, people will tell you everything you need to ruin them. I started with fibers, not sledgehammers. At a group brunch, I accidentally left my tinted lip balm in Chloe's tote, a shade she used to call too orange. 2 days later, she posted a selfie wearing it. Caption, "Trying something new." Daniel liked the photo 30 seconds after it went up. I didn't. I texted her, "That color is so you." She replied, "Right?" It wasn't. She knew it. I knew it. More importantly, so did he. The mirror appetite was awake and hungry. For Daniel, I let time do the work. Chloe is late to everything, and he believes punctuality is moral. I orchestrated a plan that gently highlighted this mismatch. I got our mutual friend to move her celebration 30 minutes earlier by accident, and then let Chloe believe it never changed. She showed up flustered. Daniel arrived early and annoyed. He didn't yell. He simmered. Simmer is better than yell. Simmer ruins stews and relationships. I overheard at the bar. I thought Chloe was coming with Ethan tonight. I stage whispered it near Daniel without looking at him. Ethan wasn't coming. He was out of town. Didn't matter. I watched Daniel's jaw tighten, then relax as he reasoned himself out of jealousy and filed away the heat. Heat is fuel. I never sent anonymous texts. Anonymous is loud. Instead, I let interfaces do it for me. I organized a small volunteer event and invited Chloe's ex's cousin who looks exactly like Ethan from 10 feet away. I made sure the scene she'd got photographed. I made sure Daniel saw the album. He stared at one photo too long. I asked a mutual to tag Chloe in a throwback picture the night Daniel had his poker game. The post timestamp made it look like Chloe was up late with her phone, not sleeping. Daniel commented, "Cute." No emoji. Dry comments or weather reports. I DM'd Daniel a link to a sale on a necklace Chloe had once loved when I wore it. "Thought she'd like this on you," I wrote, then added, "Oops, meant on her." He saw it. Never replied. Chloe bought it the next day. Was I petty? Absolutely. Piety is for sermons. This was war. But beneath the pettiness was geometry. People think triangles are stable. They're not when one angle is envy. One is ego, and the last is me with a ruler. The first argument I witnessed happened behind a door that wasn't closed all the way. Doors rarely are, when people believe they're safe. "Chloe, if you don't trust me, why are we even doing this?" Daniel, "If you've nothing to hide, why are you hiding your phone?" Chloe, "Because I don't have to prove myself to you every minute." Daniel, "You do when you give me reasons not to trust you." I walked past softly, shoes barely a sound, face neutral. Later, I texted Chloe, "You okay?" She wrote back 3 hours later, "He's being intense." I replied, "He's protective." She read it and didn't answer. Let people think their words bounced off you. They'll stop aiming carefully. I did a nice thing, a real one. I helped Chloe plan a just because weekend for Daniel, the kind of thoughtful gesture I used to orchestrate and she used to mock as girlfriend try hard. I booked the restaurant, sent her my old list of conversation starters for those lulls she hates, suggested a hotel I knew had thin walls. They came back Sunday evening with that glassy, post-performance glow couples wear when they're pretending the encore was better than the show. On Monday, Chloe posted a carousel of sunset, his hands on a coffee cup, a blurry elevator mirror. She titled it, "We Needed This." Translation: "We almost didn't." I commented a heart and a flame. She liked it immediately. Daniel didn't like it at all. Forgiveness is camouflage. It lets you sit on the branch while the trap you built resets itself beneath them. Every plan needs a fuse. Lighted too early and it fizzles. Too late and the audience is gone. Right on time. Boom! I set mine with a mistake. At a group movie night, I forgot my cardigan on Chloe's couch, not the one I loved, but the one she once complimented in a way that meant I want it. While cleaning up, I slipped a receipt into the pocket. A bar tab for 2 from a week Daniel had told her he was home early, exhausted. I paid for it myself, of course. The bartender is a friend. The timestamp looked perfect. I texted the next morning, "Left my sweater there, mind if I pick it up tonight?" She typed back quickly, "Sure." Also, "Did you go to Colfax on Thursday?" "Yep, with a friend." True. Myself is a friend when I need her. "Did you see Daniel?" I waited. A beat. 2, 3. It was busy. Why? No reason. She didn't add an emoji. Emojis are punctuation. Hers were missing. That night, I found my cardigan neatly folded on a chair. The receipt was gone. Good girl. As I left, an alert popped up on my phone. Daniel added a new friend on IG, Ethan. The fuse glowed. Grief hadn't left. It just learned to share space with intent. I took a walk alone and let myself be the person who'd been hurt. I said out loud to trees, to air, that I loved a man who made a choice against me, and I trusted a woman who chose the mirror over the friend. I let the egg do a full lap around my chest. Then I came home and put on red lipstick I'd retired when Daniel once called it too much. Too much is exactly enough for war. I set 3 calendar reminders titled with innocuous nonsense: plant, laundry, batteries on dates where the pressure between them would naturally spike, his quarterly review, her sister's engagement party, the anniversary of the night we all met. Each reminder linked to a small action: a photo to post, a like to withhold, an invitation to extend to the one person guaranteed to make the other jealous. Not fireworks, dominoes. I typed a note to myself and pinned it above my desk. Don't ruin them. Let them ruin each other. Hold the light so they can see it happen. I slept that night with the window cracked and a quiet smile on my mouth. The kind that says, I know where the exits are, and I'm not the one who won't make it out. Suspicion is like mold, it thrives in the dark, spreads fast, and ruins everything it touches. The trick is giving it just enough air to keep growing, without showing you were the one who opened the window. I started small, a casual comment here, an innocent question there. At brunch, when Chloe excused herself to take a call, I leaned toward Daniel and said, "She's been busy lately, huh? Always texting. Must be work." Then I shrugged, the kind of shrug people interpret however they want. Later, when Daniel went to grab drinks, I told Chloe, "You must feel safe with him. He's so good at keeping things private." I let the word private linger. Like perfume that's just a bit too strong. Neither of them reacted in the moment. But I saw it, the flicker in Chloe's eyes, the way Daniel's jaw tightened. Micro-expressions are confession notes for those who know how to read them. Within a week, they were checking each other's phones when they thought the other wasn't looking. Not outright snooping yet, just hovering. Perfect. Anonymous tips are sloppy. I wanted organic suspicion, clues that looked like life had dropped them there naturally. The lipstick coffee cupie stopped by Daniel's place when he wasn't home, dropping off a book Chloe had lent me years ago. I left a paper coffee cup on the counter, red lipstick on the rim. Not Chloe's shade. When I came back a few days later, the cup was gone, but Daniel's texts to Chloe were noticeably shorter that week. The earring at a mutual gathering. I found an earring under Daniel's couch. Not Chloe's style, but one I knew her old flame's current girlfriend wore. I handed it to Chloe in front of people, saying, "You left this, right?" Her smile was the kind people practice when they want to hide teeth. The misplaced receipt. He left a bar receipt for two in Chloe's purse after a night out date and time matching one of Daniel's guys' nights. She didn't mention it, but I noticed her scrolling through Instagram later, checking tagged photos. Each clue was small enough to be deniable, but together, they became a story. And stories are dangerous when told in whispers. If you want two people to hate each other, make them think the rest of the world sees cracks they're trying to hide. I staged photos. A group selfie at a friend's BBQ where Daniel's possible new interest, a mutual friend with no actual connection, was laughing just a little too close to him in the background. A tagged post of Chloe and her old flame Ethan at a public fundraiser, true, but cropped to look more intimate. I didn't post these myself, I let them appear naturally in the feed, through other people. My job was to notice and comment casually. To Daniel, "Saw you in that BBQ pic, you look like you were having fun." To Chloe, "Ethan's aged well, hasn't he?" Both laughed it off. But I saw the late night story views, the untagging, the subtle unfollows. By now, their private conversations were leaking in tiny drips through mutual friends. I never asked directly. People want to spill when they think you're the wrong party taking the high road. I learned Daniel had started asking Chloe where she was more often. Chloe had hinted that Daniel was too friendly with women at the gym. So I tailored my next moves to match their growing insecurities. I arranged for Chloe's old flame to be at the same birthday dinner as Daniel. By coincidence, I sent Daniel a link to an expensive bracelet for Chloe with the note, "She'd love this, it's her style." He didn't buy it, but Chloe later complained to a friend that he'd forgotten to get her something nice. It happened at a friend's game night. The tension finally broke through their polite couple mask. Chloe teased Daniel about having too many gym girls. Daniel shot back about her old friends and hidden messages. The room went still. I sipped my drink and smiled sympathetically as if embarrassed for them. But inside, I felt the machinery of my plan locking into place. They weren't united anymore. They were keeping score. Chloe had always been the kind of person who needed proof of affection, and Daniel, the kind of man who hated being tested. So when she called me one afternoon and said, "Do you think Daniel would flirt back if another girl tried?" I didn't answer directly. I just said, "Well, people surprise you." A week later, she staged her own experiment. She sent her cousin's friend to Daniel's gym to chat him up. The poor girl had no idea she was bait. But Daniel took it personally when he found out. "You had someone spy on me?" he demanded later, according to Chloe. She didn't deny it. And from then on, every smile Daniel gave another woman was deliberate punishment. Daniel wasn't subtle. One Friday, he accidentally left his phone unlocked at a dinner with friends, open to a text from a woman named Melissa. Chloe went pale, but didn't explode there. The next day, I happened to see Chloe at a cafe. She told me about it, trying to mask her panic. I tilted my head and said, "Maybe it's just an old friend. Or maybe he wanted you to see it." Her nails dug into her coffee cup. She understood exactly what I meant. They planned a 2-night trip to the coast to reset for their relationship. I made sure it would be the opposite. Through a mutual friend, I let slip that Ethan, yes, Chloe's old flame, would be at a nearby resort that same weekend. By sheer coincidence, they ran into him the first night. Daniel's mood soured instantly. Chloe insisted it was nothing, but the next morning, Daniel disappeared for 2 hours without telling her where he went. By the time they got back to the city, they weren't speaking. I started giving each of them just enough comfort to make them think they could trust me more than each other. To Chloe, "You deserve someone who's obsessed with you, not suspicious of you." To Daniel, "You're a good guy. You just need someone who appreciates it." They each took the bait, venting about the other, confiding little grievances, giving me exactly what I needed to tailor my next strike. I organized a group dinner, seated Chloe next to Ethan, put Daniel between 2 single women I knew would laugh at his every joke. By dessert, Chloe was icy and Daniel was smug. The tension was visible enough for other friends to whisper about it afterward, exactly the kind of outside commentary that makes a couple spiral faster. 3 weeks after I started, they had their first public blow-up. It happened at a friend's birthday when Chloe accused Daniel loudly of keeping options open. He snapped back about her emotional affairs and stormed out. I left early too, texting Chloe later, "I'm here if you need to talk." I sent Daniel a different message, "If you ever want a friendly ear, I'm around." Both replied within minutes. Both wanted my version of the truth. The beauty was, my truth was whatever served my plan next. Opportunities for revenge don't knock, you build the door and then make them walk through it. I learned Chloe was planning a small dinner at her apartment to patch things up with Daniel. Just them, candles, and whatever speech she'd rehearsed in the mirror. So I planted my final seed. I told Daniel in my most reluctant tone, "I probably shouldn't tell you this, but Chloe's been meeting Ethan a lot lately. She says it's just closure." Then I looked away, as if I regretted saying it. He didn't ask for proof. People don't need proof when the story fits what they already believe. Daniel arrived at Chloe's apartment armed with wine and suspicion. I wasn't there, but I'd arranged for Ethan to drop by halfway through the evening to return a book. When the doorbell rang and Ethan stepped in, Daniel's eyes narrowed. Words flew fast, voices rose, and Chloe's carefully planned reconciliation shattered. Daniel accused her. Chloe defended herself. Ethan tried to leave, but Daniel followed him out into the hallway. Neighbors later told me it got loud. By the time the shouting stopped, Chloe had locked herself inside, crying. Daniel was gone. Ethan never spoke to either of them again. A week later, I hosted a casual group hangout. I invited both of them separately, knowing they wouldn't communicate. Chloe arrived first, brittle and too perfectly put together. Daniel came in half an hour later, surprised to see her. The air was thick enough to chew. I made sure they ended up side by side during a game, then accidentally let my phone light up with a fake anonymous message. "Told you they'd destroy each other." Chloe saw it. Daniel saw it. They both froze, glancing at each other, each convinced the other had been plotting behind their back. Within days, they'd blocked each other on every platform. Friends heard different stories. Chloe claimed Daniel was a cheater. Daniel swore Chloe had been playing him all along. Neither could prove their version, because neither knew where the truth ended and my work began. I wasn't just a friend they betrayed. I was the friend who watched, learned, and turned their own paranoia into a weapon. People asked if I felt guilty. The answer? No, I didn't force Chloe to betray me. And I didn't force Daniel to lie. All I did was give them the rope. They tied the knots themselves. And when the last thread of their love story snapped, I was there smiling, sipping my drink, and making polite small talk while they burned down everything they thought they'd stolen from me.